Hey Team V, welcome back to Vrule. Like, comment, subscribe. We're going to jump in here in just a second. We're going to talk what's hot and what's not on these alternate arts in the Pokemon TCG. Pokemon's been blowing up for the past couple months with alt arts just going through the roof, especially Sword and Shield era alt arts. There's some that are a little bit earlier with those GX cards, but they're not quite in that category of what we're considering an alt art, but it's all fair games. So let's not split hairs or be ridiculous about this. Before we get into that, though, I have a serious thing I'd actually like to discuss for the Pokemon community. Pokene.com. Pokene.com. If you're familiar with it, great website. They got a lot of different foreign cards available, English sets as well. But they are going through some stuff. So the owner of Pokene posted on his website that things will be delayed, cancellations are understood, all of that. I urge you not to cancel your orders and just be patient. You know, when somebody's going through what they are going through, it's a little thing you can do to just be patient and practice patience. So in all seriousness, their family needs prayers. So I've included them in my prayers that I do on a daily basis. I urge all of you to pray for their family. You can go to the website and read more about it. It's not up to me to say anything about what's going on, really, but I just want to put it out there into the community, the Pokemon community, that prayers are needed. And if you do so, if you do pray in any fashion, please do so for them, for the owners of Pokene.com. They could really use it right now. So thank you for your support on that. We're going to jump into this one. I know it's a little bit of a serious note to start us off, but necessary. I think it's a community-driven thing here that we're all in this Pokemon community. We enjoy it in different ways, we collect in different ways, and we all experience it in different ways. And the least we can do is pay attention to the fact that it's people. We're in a community. We all sit here behind our desks. We, might play the game online. We might actually go to some tournaments, and there you actually have some real human interactions, but it's people. That's what makes this entire industry work. It gets kids excited about the characters, the collecting, the playing of the games playing it on your Nintendo or playing it as a TCG. It's a wonderful hobby and a really amazing franchise. But it really comes down to the community, and that's the people. So that's really what that's about. I just wanted to be clear that the community comes first, and I think that's evident in everything you see from Pat Flynn doing Card Party. There's so many different creators who've done a lot, and I could go on listing them all. I follow most of them just like you do, but it's community. It's important. I got to get off my soapbox here. Just welcome to the community. Like, comment, and subscribe, and be a part of Vrule. Be a part of this little sliver of the community that hopefully will continue to grow. We're going to look at alt arts here. What's hot, what's not. I don't know if it's really got to be that specific. I just got a random page here up from TCG Player, but let's go through a few tabs that I pulled out here. Galarian Moltres V. This Pokemon is gorgeous. This Pokemon card, rather, is gorgeous. And we saw this shoot up, just like everything else in the past 3 months. March, April, May, really pushed. June, shooting up a little bit. And we saw it pumping all the way up. It hit 181 was our nice peak there. We have a listed median price of 180. It's coming down a little bit, but I think this is finally leveling out to where it should be. This is one of those cards that wasn't always priced where I thought it should be. A little over $100, 120, 125, maybe 130 at times. But this shoot up was a little drastic. I think 150. Once this gets to 150 and levels out there, that's going to be reasonable for a little while. And then as time goes on, maybe once we pass the Scarlet and Violet era, we'll look back on this and give it another bump up at that time. But I think if we're at 150, that'd be reasonable for this one. Anything above that, that's great for those of you who have it. Charizard V, this thing was outrageous when it first was released from Brilliant Stars, and then it kind of took a dive a little bit and then floated around about $100, 110, 115. This shot up because everybody was crazy for Charizard. That 151 release, I think, got everybody there. Didn't quite peak to 200. This is easily a $200 card, though. It's taken a dip back down and it's floating around that 180 mark. So I think this is easily a $200 card. It's going to take some time. It's a battle scene. It's an action scene. And then we have that reflected look there of what they did with the Lugia to follow after Brilliant Stars when they went to the Silver Tempest, which is my next card here, the Lugia V alternate art. This Pokemon is highly sought after, highly acclaimed, really, and $200 going on that listing. Wow, that's pretty high. But we are at a almost 220 range for the listed median, and I think that's reasonable. It's dark, it's very different. The style just took a shift, and I actually attribute this look a little bit more to, like, say, a Magic the Gathering. There's a lot of cards that have a much darker feel to them, and this kind of fits into that realm, and I think that artwork is appreciated. That really intense glowing eye, the massive Lugia overpowering the scene, overwhelming the space, the crazy swirls, really good visuals here. I was lucky enough to, on my first opening of Silver Tempest, I did an ETB and I pulled the Lugia V-Alt art. That was extremely lucky. That kind of thing just doesn't happen. This Magikarp, not the Magikarp you're thinking with that illustration rip, but this Magikarp here as a GX, Magikarp and Wailord from Sun and Moon team up. This one is interesting because for the longest time, it just didn't seem like it should be that expensive. It was getting up to like $300 almost, and then it started leveling out in the 270, started trickling down to the 250. I think because of the age, sure, it can have a little bit more to it, but it still feels a little bit high here when we go into that 250 range, and we're getting things leveling in that 250. It just feels a little bit hot for me, but still a really cool card. Very simple artwork, very interesting there. Golurk V, this was a Twice Big Jake thing. I swear he pushed this price up just by talking about it, and it's stuck around ever since. It's actually taken this little dip down, but it's kind of reaching into a more reasonable level. I think this is priced accordingly now. I started picking up some of the alt arts right before everything happened. I was looking at them in like February, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to pick up a few alt arts just to fill them in because they're priced right. Golurk was one of them. I got it for like $12 or something, which is what it was sitting at for so long. So I got it for like $12, and then it just shot through the roof. So instant value there for my pickup, great, and those who had it before. But even still, I think we're actually in a good sweet spot here that if it floats around the like $25, $30 range, that's reasonable on this artwork here. Galarian Rapidash V, this one doesn't get a lot of love, but it's gorgeous. It's just one of those first earlier busy artworks that I think has been really underrated, and sitting around in that $6,500 range doesn't seem to be the right spot to it for me. I think maybe over time it'll go up, but this is one of those where it didn't climb like the rest of them as quickly. It didn't have a super spike, and it's leveling out evenly. So I think the market has finally understood that this is not a $35, $40 card, that we're getting closer to $50, $60, you know, $65. I think $75 would be a sweet spot once this thing accumulates enough. We get into the Hisuian Sneasler V. Again, Pokemon did a great job putting this one together. It's not just about the Pokemon in the scene, it's the scenery itself. And I think this was one of the earlier ones where that landscape really took over the card. It made the shot, that sunset just beaming those lights through. You're getting that like Jacob's Ladder look there, just beaming that light across. Beautiful, beautiful card. And I think it's actually a little undervalued even still. So, you know, if you picked it up around that $30 range because of the hype, grabbing it, I don't think you did anything wrong. I think this is a really good spot for it. And I could see this going up even higher, probably sitting around a $35, $40 card when it's all said and done, where the market just levels out officially on that. Zorora V, this one is interesting because it took a quick climb up and a pretty quick climb back down, and I think it's overpriced. I think we're sitting too hot on it. I don't think it's beyond a $40 card, to be honest. It's interesting. It's got a nice perspective, but it's a little bit light in the detail for me. I don't think we need to go beyond this $40 range. If you're picking it up at $50, I think you're paying a little too much right now. But that's just me. It doesn't mean that that's where the market's going to go. It doesn't mean it's going to dip back down to that 40. I don't know if we'll see that, but it is trending downwards, and steadily so. So I think we're going to be heading back to that $40 range and getting there. Beedrill V, I was again lucky enough to pull this one. I was not that excited about it, and the longer I look at it, the more I have, you know, spent time with the card and I hold on to it, of course. I'm kind of like, you know what, with that OG 151 resurgence there, that's where I started with the Kanto region. You know, that super shoot up here on the price, probably not realistic, just like the rest of them, a little bit too hot to handle. But coming down here, yeah, we're getting into a more realistic range. 30 might be a little much, 32 might be a little much. I think 30 is solid. I don't think we need to go beyond 30 for this one. It's one of those Pokemon where you either love it or you hate it or you really don't care. So you either have feelings about it or you have none at all. And it's not like, oh yeah, Beedrill's pretty good, you know, like I'd have him in my set of 6 to carry. Nah, not really, you know, unless you love him. So I'm kind of in that I don't really care about Beedrill kind of thing. You know, it's fine. It's fine. Don't care. I think the original base set Beedrill is probably one of the best because it was that introduction to Beedrill. So the fact that they did a little love here, putting into an alt art for that Astral Radiance set, kind of nice. But I think we're where it needs to be. I could see it coming down a little bit, and that's okay too, and realistic for the card. So we're going to move on to this one. Arceus, Dialga, Palkia GX, alternate full art, Sun and Moon, Cosmic Eclipse. Well, we all know Cosmic Eclipse has been going nuts lately. The packs alone are getting crazy. The booster box is insane. And interesting that this card, one of the greatest from the set, has been just steadily coming down. Even with the alt art hype and that push up, it never redirected upward. It's been on a steady decline for the past 6 months. Let's see if that year, almost the entire year, it's been trickling down. So if you're looking at getting this card, it's probably in that range where you want to keep an eye on it and maybe think about a pickup, because it doesn't have that much further to go down. The fact is the market doesn't have a lot of these sitting out there. I mean, yes, there's a lot. Sure, fine. It's all relative of what a lot means. But for what's available, there aren't really a lot out there. You know, we got many pages here for sale, but when we get into, well, I mean, damaged, can we even get to a near mint anywhere on this? Price but shipping, where's our filter for it? I can't even filter out. All filters here at the top now. When did that change? Thanks, TCG player. Near mint, we're looking 170-ish with the shipping there. Don't buy without seeing it. My gosh, pick it up at a card show. Pick it up in person. You know, go on eBay where there's gonna be multiple pictures of it. Request pictures on TCG player. Find a good spot to get it. But this is kind of getting that pickup range where, yeah, it's a little bit pricey. It's a lot to do, but that'd be a good one to think about. Mew V. This one's so underrated. This is so underrated. I know the Mew VMAX is way cooler. This did take a little bit of that tick up there, but it's been a steady decline. And I think this is easily sitting at a $60, $70 card. I mean, you just got a lot of cool stuff going on here. You have the different Pokemon in here. Mew just kind of coming out of there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Pokemon galore, and Mew is the star. I mean, why shouldn't Mew be the star? What a great little artwork. Really simple, clean, cute. I love it. I love it. The Mew V alternate full art. Okay, Fusion Strike. It wasn't a big hit when it came out. It was just too big to handle. People didn't want to deal with it, and now there's a huge appreciation for it. And I'm one of those people too. That, yeah, it's gotten a lot better with age. This thing's undervalued. I'd say even if you picked it up at that $58, just hold on to it. We'll see in time. Mew's a good one. Mew's a good Pokemon to have and invest in a little bit. Celebi V, same kind of thing. This has a really weird trend. Looking at it, it's kind of just a little bit rocky back and forth, and then that big shoot up. Everybody wanted it, and a little bit rocky, and now we got a little slope down. So I don't know where this one goes. I can't tell you. And maybe it's priced. Maybe it's priced right. Maybe we've met it at 40, and we'll see that. I think we'll know in about 3 months of what this one should level out to. I don't think it's a horrible pickup in that $40 range if you can get it in the near mint. There's some near mints there, even less. Okay, so yeah, we're at $32. I think that's a reasonable pickup on this one. Really cool artwork there. Regidrago V. To be honest, not a fan. Don't really care much for it, but I did pick it up. I picked it up for $8. Not gonna cry about that. I don't think I've seen it at $8 in the entire time it's been out. So got a sweet deal on it. Okay, yeah, the low like 10, 11 bucks. Okay, my gosh. So I got it for nothing. Got it next to nothing. Near mint, looks great. And I've paid so little attention to this card that I didn't even notice until I had it in my hands. There's a cameo of Lugia just soaring in the background. That's a little bit of value right there. That does mean something. The additional Pokemon in the background means something in these artworks, and I think it's going to play nicely on the Regidrago V. Silver Tempest had some good things. Everybody's so focused in on that Lugia that everything else kind of fell by the wayside, so I think this is a reasonable pickup. It's been a steady climb. It hasn't been part of the big jump up. It had a little slope, but then it was just leveling and steady climbing. I think it's finding its spot, and in that $25 range, you're not far off here. It might be 25, could get to 30, but I think it's in a good spot. One one that has kind of taken the hit here is going to be the Unknown V. First of all, it's a great card. This is beautiful. Okay, the colors are simple gradient blue, nice warm yellows back there. Those are complementary colors. It's very easy on the eyes. You have all the different unknowns here. I mean, the fact of the simplicity of the unknown Pokemon makes this V feel like another one, this V feel like another one, makes the psychic energy feel like another one, like it's all part of it. It just continues and it's spilling all over the card. It's fantastic. I love this artwork, and the fact that it shot up makes sense. We all know what the market was doing, but this steady decline is actually a little confusing to me. I think this card is undervalued. Even still here sitting around the $20-$25 range, I think it's going to be undervalued. Look at this, $17, $17.75 when it's all said and done. Decent sales, not a horrible price to be picking up blind. You're probably going to have a centering issue on that card, but you know what? It may even be worth it if you're getting it under $20. So it's in good shape right now, and I think long term, again, Silver Tempest, we were all focused on that Lugia, so I think the other alt arts in Silver Tempest are going to be doing better with age. All right, they're going to be like a fine wine or something. So I think this one's undervalued, probably one of the most undervalued of what we've looked at here today. I could go all day and on and on. There are so many, and I stayed away from all the heavy hitters. Okay, I even stayed away from page one altogether. I just didn't want to touch it because I think everybody's focused on those. We all know what the Moonmeon's doing. We all know what Latios GX is doing. We know what Rayquaza VMAX is doing. We got it. We got it. The big artworks, the big ticket items, they're going nuts. They might be coming down a little bit. Too rich for my blood right now, okay? So that's fine. The highest price one I looked at was that Magikarp Wailord, just because it's a little bit different, a little bit older, something else to consider when we're looking at this. And then we moved down here into that page one, okay? So, you know, again, you could go on and on with this stuff all day, and I really enjoy it. It's really interesting to me. It's like watching a precious metal market, seeing how it goes up and down, when to buy, when to sell. It's just, it's like watching the stock market, and I'm sorry that you get to a certain age where that's fun. You know, if you're not there yet, you'll get there. It's fun to watch your investments, to watch the stocks go up and down, see where you got to make your moves, see where you can capitalize on it. And I think if you invest in Pokemon cards, same kind of thing. And maybe this is not like a cash cow investment. It's just a hobby investment. But if you want to play it that way, that's where I go with it. I like to look at it more of an investment and a collection, long-term holding and trying to complete a few master sets here and there. I'm not going to collect them all. I can't do that. It's probably too difficult, too much money, too much intensity, and I don't have the time for that at this point in my life. But I do enjoy where I'm at, and it took me a long time to get here. That's one thing I gotta say. You know, if you are on this journey trying to figure out where you land in the Pokemon TCG, in the collection, in the hobby, like, comment, subscribe, join me for this walk, because seriously, I was opening packs like crazy. Then I got to a little bit more of a strict way of opening up my packs, and then realizing that I want to complete master sets and buying singles, and now really investigating the price range, looking over the market and seeing where it's trending. This stuff excites me, and I finally think I found the kind of collector I am within the Pokemon TCG and this hobby as a whole. So like, comment, subscribe, and thanks for tuning in.